Hey
pals.
I tried to say that sexy way. I'm sorry. I won't do that. I'm just gonna say, hey pals, like normal.
Hey pals, welcome to another episode of the Plot Pals podcast.
Welcome to an episode full of seduction, sexuality, sensuality, romance, infidelity, lies, betrayal, and love.
This is such a seductive episode, so get ready for that. It's very dangerous. We're going to talk about Dangerous Liaisons.
Oh my God. We're also going to look at Robert Greene's Art of Seduction and go through each type of seducer, which one you are, which one you can be, how to seduce anyone. We will learn all today.
That's amazing.
Very so fun. Very exciting book.
I know. This is such a great episode. I'm so looking forward to this
So much to learn. Even we could learn from that.
Exactly. Yeah. There's so much to learn about that. And seduction doesn't always mean just, seducing the opposite gender or someone. It's also about seducing like a crowd, seducing people to come and believe in your ideas, in your beliefs.
It's a way of life, really.
Exactly.
It's a skill you have to have, just like eating, drinking.
Right. You seduce everything. You seduce success. You seduce, what is it called? Like your ideals. You seduce your beliefs. You seduce everything into your life. You seduce money,
Exactly.
Everything is about seduction, really.
And then there's the type that is the anti-seducer, that does
Repellers.
everything wrong. Yeah, repel.
Wow.
So that's also important to learn about, to make sure you're not doing those things.
Exactly. There's so much to learn. So we're going to discuss everything, dissect all these stuff.
Exactly. And we'll go through every character in this Dangerous Liaisons and consider what type of seducers they are, what their techniques are, and what leads to their downfall. This movie is amazing because there's the man and woman who are the main characters, and they are trying to seduce each other the whole time.
I know. They were ex-lovers.
Right.
And still, love each other, kind of.
A lot. It seems like they love each other for real.
Exactly. And, they're friends and try to, it's so hard. Such a, it's such a hard situation they're in. It's so messed up.
I know.
They're trying to seduce other people. They try to make each other jealous. They try to scheme and, use each other as tools to get to their goal and get revenge and all that. It's so messy.
Because here's the thing. They're both ultimate seducers. So the woman, her name is Marquise. Marquise,
yeah. Marquise
this Marquise woman. Okay.
Marquise, yeah.
Yeah, so she's like this heiress, really rich.
Not even, exactly, an heiress. Marquise. She's a Marquise, so that's the ultimate. She's an aristocrat. She has so much influence, political influence, as well as social influence in the French court. So that's the ultimate. And she's a widow. So she has all this money and all this power. And she's a really powerful woman at the time that women didn't have that much power.
Exactly.
So it's incredible how she uses that and how she describes how she came about maintaining the power. There's so many good dialogues that you get to see.
So there is this woman, Marquise
de Marté,
thank you. And then she's the ultimate seducer. She's learned from the age of 15 how to seduce. And so she can get anyone. She can even turn on women, as you learn in the book. And then there's the guy seducer.
Oh, yes.
Vicomte Valmont.
De Valmont. Yes, exactly. He's a viscount. So again, a political figure. He's in the French court. So he's like a nobility, an aristocrat. And
how attractive are these people already to you?
I know, exactly. And he's known, his reputation is so bad. He's known for being the seducer, for luring all the women in. And that's the thing, he knows how to target each person. And understand their desires and their specific needs and goes after them, as you learn really early on in the movie or the book if you read it.
Exactly. So now you have two people who are ultimate seducers. And how do they seduce each other then? They know each other's tricks, right?
That's right, yes.
So this whole story.
Yes.
They are constantly trying to one-up each other in ways of keeping each other interested.
That's right.
So the woman is constantly you should do this for me. You have to get a letter or else no touching. She keeps building these up.
Right.
Because this man, he is the ultimate seducer. He knows how to, all the game. To go to the other women. Yeah. But still, he's obsessed with her because she keeps denying. She keeps saying, not today, not today.
That's right. I mean, that's the thing. Like, how do they do that? And the thing is that the woman has the power the whole time. I feel like he
that's
thinks,
true.
like, he is good at seducing and all that. But, like, she always is one step higher, you know? She's always, like, on top of the game.
She's a mastermind, exactly.
Exactly, yes. Even to the end, like, you realize she's the one that destroys everything. And she's the one that always had the power. But that's so interesting to see. Because, like, we talked about it last episode, about women and men being friends, or can they be friends at all? Well, the thing is, like, their friendship is so interesting. You see that, like, they're friends, but at the same time, like, they want to seduce each other the whole time, and they want to, like, they have these games, and they work really well together.
That's right.
But at the end, what destroys them is, like, still the love. So the woman still loves him. And she gets jealous. And that kind of, like, ruins the whole thing.
Exactly. So I guess it shows that women and men can't be friends.
I think so. We talked about it even in the last episode. Like, let's see. Because, like, it's interesting. Their friendship is so interesting.
At the same time, though, you even seduce your friends, don't you think? Like, you can be an asshole friend, never pick up, never say, like, always talk about yourself. And then your friends will slowly stop hanging out with you.
That's right.
So I think even in friendship, all you're doing is, like, making sure the other person is still feeling cared for.
Right.
So even if women and men are seducing each other, it doesn't mean that they're not friends, because even friends do that.
That's right. Because, like, seduction, as we said, like, it's about everyday life. Like,
exactly.
It's a lifestyle. It's really a lifestyle. Like, you get to lure people in. You don't have to, like, always be 100% in. That's toxic, but, like, that gets people to be addicted to you.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So, yeah, I don't know. But their friendship kind of is so interesting because they know everything about each other. They're so honest, even in their letters. Like, incredible how honest they are, or their tone of voice is completely different. Even though, like, it's written, you can see, like, how they talk to each other and compare it with how they talk to other people.
That's right. It's like they say the cruelest things that they did to other people.
Yes.
They say it to each other. So you think they have such an honest relationship. They just treat each other like they are themselves, talking to themselves.
Right.
But at the same time, they're always trying to make the other person jealous, or, like, make it seem like they're having more fun or less fun than they're having.
Right.
So it's like this balance between being super honest and revealing yourself, but also trying to lure the other person to like you still.
That's right.
So it's not like full-on honesty.
Exactly, because one rule of seduction is mystery.
Exactly.
You have to keep the mystery all the time. Like, you always have to be surprising. If you're, like, an open book every day, like, even your husband, someone that you have, like, already seduced and hooked, that person is going to get bored of you. Or even your wife. It doesn't matter. Like, every day you have to have some surprising thing. You have to, like, surprise them with something and, like, have some mystery.
Exactly.
Like,
and they do that so well.
Exactly, yeah. That's such a good balance. Like, how did they master that? Even though they're so honest and say everything to each other, still they could, like, keep that intact themselves. Like, I feel like it's insecurity at times. Like, they don't want to fully reveal themselves maybe to each other. And things like that. Like, you know, insecurity causes toxic behavior, and that is therefore seductory. I don't know.
That's right, because if the woman was secure, she would just say to Viscount,
yeah,
she would say, I really like you and I want you to like me. But instead she has to put all these pretenses, go seduce that girl, go do that for me. And then maybe I'll give it to you. Maybe you can come to my corners.
Yeah.
So she's constantly having to put up this act to make him interested.
That's right.
But we can tell she loves him.
That's
like,
right.
From a young age.
And from, like, exactly. So they were, like, ex-lovers. And then they became friends. But she still has so much love for him. Now, the thing is that in the movie, you don't get to see that really early.
Right.
Like, it's after you, the Viscount is with that other mistress, Treville, I think.
Right, the one he loves, or the little girl?
The one he loves.
Okay, Treville.
Treville. I think when they're together, that's when this woman gets so jealous.
Right, exactly.
And you see that, oh, she actually loves him. But then in the book, you actually kind of see it early on that she really does say that I love you, or like I like you, something like that, or tries to really deliberately make him jealous by saying that, oh, I have this lover and I went out with that lover, and I keep this lover in my dungeon.
In the book you can immediately tell the relationship between these two,
right,
Morte and Viscount. But in the movie it's kind of like, who is this woman? Is she evil? Like, why does she like cruelty? What's her master plan? She's trying to like get this girl, this 15-year-old girl, to sleep with someone. It's kind of more confusing.
That's
the problem. Now, I have a question. In terms of the movie, what did you think about the casting of Martel, the woman?
The woman. I think she was incredible. Well, the casting, the thing is, like, I didn't find her, like, attractive at first, in that sense, but then she really grew on me. Her acting is so good. Glenn Close, I think her name is, and she should have won an Oscar. I feel like she's so good in her acting. Like, at first you see it, it's such an artistic kind of movie. So at first, like, she's in front of the mirror, she's so like smiling, she's like happy, and everybody gets to like do her makeup and her wig and her clothes, and she puts it on, and you see like how she can put a mask on immediately. You see the range of her acting, how she can go like about being cruel and all that, and or be vulnerable, and you see all these things, like her rage, her anger, her jealousy, her love, her seduction. It's like a really hard role to pull to actually like be able to pull off. And I think she did really good.
Right. But at the same time, you say you didn't find her attractive.
Not at first. Yeah, exactly. I don't think like, I think she kind of should have been a little bit more attractive maybe. But then you don't have to be attractive to be...
That's true too.
A seducer. Seducers are actually not attractive at all. And that's the thing about them. What do they have? What is this magical power that they have that they can like seduce people, seduce men, and like make them their slaves, even though there are so many beautiful women like at the men's feet. Maybe.
Right. And I agree with you. Like, you don't have to be attractive to be seductive. But for me, and her acting is really good, by the way. So I agree with that. But it was just like she seemed too much older than everyone else.
That's the thing, yeah.
And it was like, oh, really? This guy loves you? This guy can be with like this 15-year-old.
That's right.
But so she looks like this mastermind, like queen character.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, she's more like lively and
she is
seductive.
So lively, yes. You know, for example, I've seen some period movies and there were like these rich widow women, and I kind of had this idea when I read the book. I thought that, okay, maybe that actress will be really good for this character. But then again, because she's a good actress, it makes up for it.
Right.
But then again, yeah, she's like a really lively kind of character. So vain, so like she's all about vanity. She just goes after that, all about like the fashion, all about love affairs, all about that. So you kind of expect that person's tone of voice, their like attitude to be the same way too.
Exactly. Like I feel like the audience should fall in love with her immediately.
Ooh.
For the movie to have like more of an effect.
Perfect idea. Yes, like the Vanity Fair, for example, Becky Sharp, it should be exactly like that. So you immediately, even though she's like a toxic character, even though she's like immediately you see she's a toxic character, you have to fall in love with her. You have to kind of like her enough to follow her journey. And
the book does that. You really do feel, even for Viscount, you feel like they have something that you're attracted to. Exactly. But in the movie, I had problems with both. Like even John Malkovich as the guy. Like, okay, I'm not saying he has to be attractive. Again, you can be unattractive, but he just is like a little weird. It's a weird guy.
Yeah, that's true. Exactly. So the thing is, like, at first, you know, when they put this makeup on. At that time, like, that was like a pasty kind of white makeup for men with the lipstick and all that, and it's just immediately like, and with the wig, it's just so bad. right? And especially like their tights and like their heels and everything, like the way they stand like this. What the heck?
I love the outfits and the way they stand is okay too. The wigs, that's too much, and the white face.
I know.
But with him, my problem was like, he wasn't as, and it is not the fault of the actor, it's a lot the filmmakers as well.
Yeah.
But they weren't so subtle with him. Like, he wasn't, you couldn't see that he is seducing women, you could more see he's tricking women.
That's right, yes.
But
I mean, like, a good seductor, a charismatic person would really, like, lure you in. Like, you wouldn't, it would be, like, so seamless. You wouldn't even realize. So I've seen, like, so many people, like James McAvoy. Okay, he's such a, like, wow, charismatic man. Like, every movie I see him in, I'm obsessed. Like, I don't even realize how I got to, like...
I know, exactly. Or you think about, like, a Leonardo DiCaprio in a movie called Catch Me If You Can. He's trying to act as all these different guys. And immediately you fall in love with him.
That's right.
So this is what the movie was missing.
I was actually so repulsed by him. You know, for example, the times that he's actually not... He's
not subtle at all.
Exactly.
Just starts looking at the girl's breasts. Do you remember that scene?
Oh, yeah. The first time he's looking at Cecile.
It's a good movie, right? It's won Oscars. So it's really, like... not fair for us to sit here and say, you did everything wrong, the casting is wrong, the shots are wrong. But then when some things are not perfect, like anyone can tell. Me and you can tell, like, man, maybe with a better cast, with a different cast, this would have been so different. Or maybe if they told the story in a different way.
Exactly.
If they started with us falling in love with the characters, maybe we would cry at the end when Viscount dies.
Because, like, the director could have so much liberty. The book is all letters, right? It's letters from Cecile to...
Cecile to Dansonnet.
Exactly.
Valmont to Morte.
I know, it's so beautiful. And
Volange.
Cecile to... What was her name? Sophia. Oh, my God. Or Sophia.
Right.
It's wonderful. Like, they're just letters.
It's like text message movie.
I know, exactly. And imagine, like, text messages, but it's in the 18th century. Right. Oh, how exciting is that?
It's actually so exciting because each text message, imagine, is one page, right? God. And you get to see, like, one person saying, please don't message me again. Like, don't you know I have a husband? Yeah. I'm asking you, I'm begging you. And then the next letter is the reply, and he's like, such a seducer. Like, what the one was saying makes perfect sense, but the guy is like, but I can't stop thinking about you. You are my empress. You have an empire on me, and like all these things. And you start to be like, oh my God, this woman, how's she gonna reply? And then you wait for her reply.
Oh yes, exactly. There were so many times I was like, how are they going to reply to that? It's such a long one because already I have a hard time like replying to people, and then like. It's like so long and so like affectionate and full of like emotions, and then you have to hit every point, respond to everything.
I know,
it's very hard.
Exactly.
So the director has so much liberty in how they're going to show the story. It's so much like you can do. But the way that they chose it, I liked it a lot. But then again, it could be maybe funny. The actors, the cast could be different, definitely. Like, for example, there were times in the movie that I was like, oh my God, that is so repulsive. That is not actually, like, it's not seducing me at all. He's running after her.
I know, the way they shot that scene was so weird. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And there's like another scene that he's actually pushing himself on Cecile. Like, what kind of seduction is that? What kind of reputation is that?
And the script, though, the script was really good.
Yeah.
Like, just if you read that, you are seduced by the characters, you understand their motives, you're like following along. So it goes to show the problem came from translating the script to the screen, like these choices. And again, it's so hard to make a good movie. Like, I know this. And every single choice that you make makes a difference in the final product.
Exactly.
And they made a movie that's like pretty damn good. Like, it won Oscars, but it's not perfect.
And also had like a 14 million budget, by the way.
I know. But like, it's like, okay, each choice in costumes makes a difference. Each choice in makeup. But then also each choice in where does the character walk? How do they smile? What do they... Like, it's such minute details that make a difference. And like, how do the characters look? Like, if the first woman was younger, Morte, and like kind of more lively, the whole story would be different.
Exactly. But then again, you realize that at that time, for example, women had to put this pretense of being like so graceful and, I don't know, not be so like a schoolgirl, you know what I'm saying? Like, always so lively and like that. They had to be a little bit aloof. So maybe that's what the direction she was going. I kind of liked her, but I kind of had a problem with the actor. the actor was like Viscount was kind of hard for me to actually like realize what is going on. I did like it the second time I was watching the movie because I don't know, I was a little bit more attracted to him in the second time because in the scenes that he is making love to the woman, he doesn't have the makeup on, so he has this bronze of look. It's so good, and the hair is down.
That's right. Every time he's in bed and his hair is just open, that's fine.
I know.
But then
as soon as you put the makeup on, oh man. But the thing is, like, I didn't like the running after the woman. I don't know, being so in the face with the seduction and getting away with it. No, I don't think that happened at that.
There was just one moment I liked with him, out of all the moments.
Oh my god!
That was when he kind of like first he lets the Miss Trovell go, so he like seduces her, drops her on the ground, but then instead of kissing her, he feels bad and he's like, okay, go. And then the next time they meet, I think, or one of the next times is they embrace. And for the first time, it's like his pretense is off, and he's actually missed her.
Oh yeah.
You know, so and then suddenly they hug, and you could see in his performance that this is a different man than the whole movie. So I loved that moment, but I wish there was so much more of those. I don't know. And then the thing is, so all the actors in this movie are famous, good, you know. There's nothing against the actors. Michelle Pfeiffer, she was actually the best part of the movie.
The thing is, like, she's always playing these, like, seducer actors.
Right.
Characters. And then in this one, she was innocent. So, for example, in Age of Innocence, she was the
ultimate.
The homewrecker.
Homewrecker, yeah.
Yeah, and then here, she's the innocent one. But she totally, like, sells you, like, that's amazing. That's the power that she has. She's such a good actress that in Age of Innocence, you believe that she's that. And the thing is, like, I feel like now that I think about it, she should have been.
I know. I was thinking that. Yeah, she would have done such a great job.
She is perfect for that role. She would have been great as Marquise.
She's such a seductress. Like, from the first scene you see her, just the way she's looking. It's like you look at the Art of Seduction checklist by Robert Greene, and she's doing everything, but it seems like she's doing it naturally.
Oh my god. As amazing. The innocent girl.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly.
Incredible.
So that's the power that you can get from that. And then there's Cecile. So the actress is amazing. Like, she played Kill Bill. She played the bride in Kill Bill. She's so cool. Yeah. But in this movie, she's like so aloof, like so confused.
Well, that's what Cecile is like, really. In the letters when you read, you're like, oh my gosh, she's so vain. She doesn't understand.
She's also 15. That's fair.
She's 15, that's true. She looked a little bit older here, but that usually happens, you know. But again, you could see the innocence, not having any idea, because I kind of saw myself in her, you know, my like teenage years when I was young and didn't know anything, and everybody around like was, I don't know, they were making fun of you probably, like for not knowing anything or like, using that to their advantage.
That's fair.
And you kind of like realize, that kind of like innocence that she has, you kind of relate to that.
But then at the same time, she goes hard.
I know, right? That's why, because she is vain. Again, I'm saying that a lot, but that's because she is, you know, she doesn't have those beliefs and those things that she was forced to do. And you have to consider, she was a prisoner, practically. Right. She was in the convent her whole life, I think.
Yeah, she was forced to sleep at 9 p.m. My God.
Well, I was forced to sleep at 9 p.m. when
That's crazy.
I was in school. Was I in a convent as well? And then, like, she was totally sheltered. Like, you see in the movie, she is behind the prison bars, it feels like, with the nuns and all that. For like, real. What the hell? Yeah, so, okay, the story is like this, that these characters are so related to each other. So Marquise, saying it
Marquise
Morte is like, she has a cousin. Her name is Volange, Madame Volange. Okay. And Volange has this daughter, Cecile, that we talked about, the innocent girl. Yeah.
There's this music teacher named Dunsany. Yeah. I don't know how old this guy is, because they say he's Vicomte's friend.
He's so young also, I think.
In the book also?
They say that, yeah. Okay. He says that they're both really young and stupid. They have this puppy love kind of going on.
But he's another seducer in his own way, Dunsany. Even though like he's very bad, it seems like, he has his techniques. I'll reveal one now, and then we'll go through all of them. But his type is called the natural. Oh. So he's very childlike. He's very sincere. So if he feels a certain way, he will say it. Like, for example, he'll say, I'm so feeling my love for you, even though I know I shouldn't tell you. Yeah. But I just, like, I get excited when I see you. Like, he says it in a very innocent way. Kind of, yeah. And also, he has these, like, he has this wonder towards the world. So when we first meet him, they say, this is the man who comes here for music instead of, like, for the... Like, everyone's at the opera, and people are, like... romancing, they've dressed up, but he's there for the music. He's crying.
Yes. Wow.
So he's a natural type of, like, when you see him, you're reminded of the wonders of the world and how life is, like, sweet and they're innocent.
And the actor, who is the actor? Can you?
Oh yeah, the actor who plays John Wick. What's his name? Keanu
Reeves.
He's a cute guy.
Oh my God, when he was young too. He kind of reminds me. The character reminds me of. Timothée Chalamet's kind of like seduction type, because women are so obsessed about him, girls mostly, but they're obsessed about him, and I think that it's kind of the same. They have this idea of him being the natural kind of like wondrous boy that is maybe.
Well, you know, I think Timothy is another category called the ideal lover.
Oh, okay.
The ideal lover gives you exactly what you want.
Right.
So all their attention is on you and what you need. And if you, like, I've seen a lot of interviews of Timothy, because I'm also one of the girls who are like, oh,
are you?
So you kind of see, like, he takes the interviewer and starts, like, interviewing them back and saying, like, what are you interested in? What is your philosophy on life? And so suddenly the women who are talking to him are like, oh, I feel so special talking to him. So he has that skill. They say if you want to find the love that's true and is, like, fulfilling for you, you have to have your own happiness and, like, not search for them to give you happiness.
But that's, like, the opposite in the movie.
That's the opposite of what these people are saying. Because they're more about, like, seducing and desire than, like, finding stable relationships.
That's true.
Nobody's after a stable relationship.
No, because they're fucking rich, you know. They have everything they want, and the only thing they're lacking is some excitement in their life. So they're gonna get it from love affairs and all that. Like, you can see, this is pre-revolution, pre-French Revolution, and these people are like,
people are bored.
These
people in the street are dying of hunger, and these people are in their castles like, who do I start an infidelity with next? We'll let them eat cake. I'm having fun.
Oh my God, exactly. Even though, like, we don't know if that sentence was actually said by Marie Antoinette, but that's, like, literally their lifestyle. That's how they went about it, and it's just no wonder that people wanted to tear them apart and put them under the guillotine. Like, I feel like that was even a mercy for them, like that guillotine and all that. Like, I'm not even those French people, but I want to, like, kill them. Like, what are you doing? They're so rich, and they're political powers of that time, and they're spending their time, wasting their time going after these stupid love affairs.
I know, and imagine how rich they are. This guy Valmont, just to get president to like him, he gives some money away to, like, the poor. He's like, wow, such a small price to pay to save a family from debt, like 54, however much. And it's such a small price for him. Literally, he just takes it out of his pocket, and that man's debt is cleared forever. Like, and then next time they talk to him, they're like, oh my God, remember that man you helped? He's doing great now. His life is better.
They say that all the time. Like, they praised him so much. Like, what did he do?
And it meant nothing to him. The amount of money was nothing. But imagine if these people, instead of wasting their time and money on, like, these dresses and wigs, how many people they could have helped? They would have never gotten guillotined at that point.
Oh my God.
It's too bad.
Oh wow, like, you see French people, like, this story is about French aristocrats being petty, being after love, and I love it. You know, even though it's, like, toxic and all that, you still get attracted to it somehow.
For sure.
And you know what I love the dialogue there is that he's yelling at her, and then she's like, I did not become like this to have, like, this kind of like argument with men anymore. And I advise you to use a less marital tone. I love that line. So cool. It's amazing. Imagine getting to that point that you're like, oh, I do not want to hear that kind of marital tone from you. Like,
yeah. Who do you think you are? Don't talk to me.
Perfect.
I'm not your wife.
Yes, I'm not your mama. Like the Jennifer Lopez song.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't talk to me like wonderful. And then after that, he's like, okay, if you don't agree to do it right now, it's either this or war. And she's like,
and so she's like, okay. And so you think it's all good, and then suddenly.
Yeah, and I love the acting in that scene to like focus on her face, and then war, but with a smile.
Yeah.
So dangerous.
So exciting.
No matter what he says, he's never going to get that love back. Again, even though in the last scene with Marthe, he says that, oh, you don't think I can get her back if I wanted to?
Right.
And she's like, no. And she knows women. She is a woman. She knows that women, once they hear that, these things,
it's done.
It's absolutely done, no matter how much they love the other person. So, yes, in that scene, I think he just wanted to kind of like self-harm and kind of feel relieved in that sense.
God damn it. So sad. It goes to show, I mean, you can have as much fun as you want with these seduction powers that you can learn from Robert Greene's book. But at the end of the day, like, don't get greedy or else it will come to bite you.
Exactly.
You can't be happy just seducing everyone and then leaving them.
So now let's talk about the Art of Seduction, because I'm really excited about that. And kind of
Me too. Let's go through the different types of characters and see which one you are.
Okay. Perfect.
So first we've got the siren. The siren is heightened and sexually charged. So they put on a voice, they put on outfits. They are all about sexuality. They don't hide that. So the first time you see a siren, and a siren is usually a woman, they are highly dressed up. They are looking at you as if they want you, as if you need them. And so you can't help but be seduced.
That's true. And they say that siren is a male's fantasy, like the ultimate male fantasy.
Exactly.
As you see it in movies and animations, like a lot, it's like always what the each man specifically has in mind as the ideal woman.
Right. What do you think the ideal woman looks like?
Marilyn Monroe is like the ultimate silent, of course, everyone knows that.
Exactly, like somebody whose hair is always done.
Yes, classic Hollywood.
Perfect, They've got their sunglasses if they're out. Perfect
always
outfit.
Put together.
Smells amazing. Is confident.
The way they talk, their tone of voice is so high and so soft and feminine. And they take their time to say, like, everybody waits for them. Oh my God, I can't
Exactly.
I can't even.
And it seems like nothing really matters to them. So they have no problems in life. Like, they're not stressed about their assignment or anything.
Right.
Life is just easy for the siren. At least it looks like that.
And it's like everything is so slowed for them. Like, everybody waits for them. Everything is just on pause.
Yes, they are the main character.
That's right, yes.
So siren is a type of woman. I've met sirens, definitely.
Yes.
You know, you see a girl and you're like, oh my God, she's attractive.
I know.
But I'm definitely not a siren. Women
as sirens. Yes, not girls, like our age. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe it takes time for that to develop, like for you to master that art. But I've definitely seen so many women like that.
That's right.
And they're really good. Especially like, I don't know what it is about like Middle Eastern women. They kind of just have that naturally. Maybe it's just living in a male-dominated kind of society where you don't have that much power. You have to like get it by, I don't know, using all that you have.
Oh, sorry. Exactly that. Because if you are like this siren type, you will gain the richer men.
That's true.
So that's what all that women in the Middle East can do is hope for. Is to get a good
many like women that I know from there, and if they have like rich husbands and all that, they're definitely sirens as well when you look at them.
Like this trophy wife kind of thing.
Oh, perfect. You got it. Yes.
But the siren type, though, it has some problems. So you become the envy of all other women.
Ooh, that's true.
It's very hard to then maintain relationships with other women because women can see through your act. You know, they see, oh my God, look at her. She's always dressed up, even if she's just hanging out with guy friends.
Yeah.
She's always trying to seduce. Her voice is fake. Oh my God, I hate her. Like, I don't trust you to be near my man.
And that's so dangerous too, because women can be really scheming. So they could like ruin your reputation. And that's the power that women have. So, you know, men have the power of arms in the past, for example, in history, and women had the power of their mouth. You know, they could ruin you with a few words, basically.
Reputation is very important.
That's right. So sirens have this disadvantage, and it's a huge one.
It's a big one, exactly. Yeah. So I would say, like, I don't think you are a siren or I'm a siren.
Not at all. I was going for the repulsor. I feel like I'm a repulsor, but then you say you're comparing me to a siren. Wow.
The siren, like, I think it's best if you already have those skills in you, like you have those personality in you, that you become a siren, not that you put on a pretense.
That's right.
It's hard to live up to that.
Exactly. It's like every day you have to do that. Like it's so draining if you don't already have it, a little bit of it.
That's true. Then you feel like you're acting the whole time. You're not real at all.
But the thing is, like, isn't seduction about acting?
It is. That's right.
Yeah.
But then you also think, like, let's say you seduce a person. Now you have to keep up that appearance until the day you die.
It's exhausting. It's very
So it might be easier to, like, find the one that matches your personality the most. That way you just have to act a little bit instead of putting on a whole new personality.
That's true, yes.
So if you feel like you're the siren, then good for you. I think just from our voice you can tell we're not the siren.
Oh, yes, exactly.
But there's many other categories. So the next category is the rake.
Ooh.
The rake mostly applies to men. Yes, like a Valmont kind of guy. But you could also be a woman and a rake. So the rake, as you know, is this man who loves women. Or like man who loves women.
Womanizer.
Yeah. So like their love is the opposite sex. It's not even just a particular woman. It's just the desire to get any woman.
Wow.
So I kind of feel like I have this too. Where like I see any man and I'm like, okay. So maybe I have a little bit.
But the thing is, like, they act on it though.
Yep, they act on it.
So rakes are basically like history's fuckboys. That's what they are. Exactly. And they wouldn't like have mercy on anything. Like any woman.
It's like a table is moving. The rake is like, okay, I'm coming for you.
Exactly. Like all these things they would go after anyone and anything. And it's like they have, I don't know what kind of charm they have. Like what is it about them? Just their reputation as a bad boy is what seduces women?
That's definitely one thing, yeah. And their total devotion to it. So, for example, if I was a rake and I wanted you, I would put all my efforts onto you. So every day I would follow you. I would say well, that sounded creepy, but like I would like always find you, bring you flowers, say how much you mean to me. Always like, oh, I can't stop thinking about you. You're all that's on my mind. Like I would hold your hand. Let's go do this, that. And so I would get you, you know, you would finally say, yes, I'm yours. And then we would do something. And then I would be like, okay, my love, I've got to go now. And then you go.
And then you fly out the window.
Yeah, that's the rake. So once they're done with someone, then they go to the next.
The biggest rake in history was Casanova. I realized I found that out recently. And I'm just so good. Like, it's very crazy. He actually lived that life. Like, he dedicated his life to women.
And what was his job? How did he make money?
Oh my God. It's like several things. Like he did so many stuff. He would go from Europe, like every city, from Rome to France to England to everywhere, because like he would get destroyed his reputation in every place. And the officers were even after him, you know. He would sleep with your wife, you know, get him, you know, out of Will Smith. Yeah. Let him not catch this guy.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like very scary. And then like he would go, but the thing is like he paid attention to women, as you say, like they would feel special when they were in his presence. So at a time that women didn't get to have these kind of lovers, or they didn't get to feel these things from their husbands, what a better way to contribute to society than this, right?
Right, like it's
I
pretty
don't even
painless.
see it as a bad way. Exactly, like especially if both parties are having fun. It's better than, raping the women of that time.
That's right.
Because
and a lot of people
abusing them and assaulting them. It's like
Yes.
willingly, and he adores them, and he like.
For
and
real.
women also know his reputation. Like, he's very well known, so they know what they're getting at.
Yeah, and the women, of course, are trying to be the one that's different.
Yes.
Be like, I could change him now. He's going to fall in love with me. But the Rake's personality is, even though they seem like they're totally into you, then the next person comes along.
Oh, my.
So it's really painful because the Rakes are, like, really one of the most charming types of men. Because their whole goal in life is to, like, pursue women.
Yes.
And so they're masters at it. And when they say, like, oh, my God, like, you are my empress. You are my queen. I can't stop thinking about you. I love the way your hair looks. Like, something simpler. You're like, oh my God, I'm falling for you fast.
I know.
But then what do you do when they leave?
It's so hard. That's true.
Is it worth it getting involved with the Rake?
I don't think so. No. It's just a very temporary kind of pleasure.
So temporary.
Have you seen any Rakes in real life?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So many. Wow.
Not so many, but a few. And they're so intoxicating because you kind of feel like I will be the person to get him.
Yeah.
But that's never how it works. Just don't even lie to yourself.
That's true. Because, like, in movies, they kind of, like, I feel like deceive you. Because they say that you can be the one.
Yeah.
That gets this man and tames this man.
Exactly.
Because I feel like for Rakes, some kind of charm they have is for women as a challenge. They're a challenge for women to tame them. Just like some women that are a little bit wild, men have this fantasy of taming them and getting them into cage. So it's like, I feel like that's one thing. And they always fail, definitely.
If your thing is just get as many people as you can, then what you have to do, apparently, is use seductive language. So make it about the other person, make them feel special.
That's right, because women's language is words.
Yeah.
Like, everybody is this, but, their love language is that. So poetry and, good literature and talking, like, beautiful talking, that's going to get them, definitely.
So really, like, go to the ends of the earth for the woman.
Ooh.
Take all measures that they want.
Wow.
And they don't even mention. Like, you should know those things.
Damn.
So that's how you become the Rake. Then there is the ideal lover.
The ideal lover.
So the ideal lover is like the perfect person. They put on this pretense that everything is right about them.
Right.
They have their life figured out. They have their goals and, like, workouts and family. But they also give so much. Yeah. So the ideal lover, if you're in a conversation with them, you can see that they are this type by them listening. So they're always listening to what you're saying. They're asking you questions. They're, like, asking you, what's your plan for the future? How can I help you achieve that? So then when you talk to this ideal lover, you feel like, oh my God, like, they can help me achieve these things. They're there with me.
So the thing is, like, one thing about influencing other people, so in the book of Friends and How to Win Friends and Influence People, one thing they say is to be interested in other people. Be interested in their interests. Ask about them. Like, be all about them instead of yourself. So that's very important. So the ideal lover, when they do that, you actually feel so connected because you realize this person is just talking about me, asking about me. And that feels really good.
Yes. And that feels good even in regular friendships and relationships.
Exactly. Like, it doesn't matter. You do that with anyone and they're going to be going to the ends of the world for you, doing everything for you. Yes.
Exactly.
So
there's a reason this is called the ideal.
Yeah.
You can be.
That's right.
It's the ideal way to be.
And I think it's like a classic kind of lover or type of seduction. So it's like this person, even if they are in any time period in history, they're going to seduce people no matter what.
Exactly.
Because they have this quality, they have the skills of listening to other person, caring about the other person, and molding themselves to that person's ideals. Yeah. So, like, the ideal lover is not one person, one quality.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, this girl is ideal, this guy is ideal. No.
What is your ideal lover? I'm going to be that person for you. You're going to have to listen and target people. So, for example, a man's maybe ideal lover is a woman that, I don't know, maybe looks a certain way, or talks a certain way, or dresses a certain way,
or cares about these particular things.
Yes, or is kind, for example. So you're going to be that in a world where women are not kind to this man.
Right.
You're going to be the one that takes care of them, being like the
That's so right. And it says, like, for example, appeal to the higher self of the person. Like, for example, let's say you want to become a novelist. Not that, let's say you do. So the ideal lover would come to you and say, let's publish it. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it.
Encourage you. Right?
Yeah. Bring me. I'll get you an illustrator. Let's get this done. And suddenly you're like, this man, I need him in my life. Yeah, he's perfect.
That's true. Like, even now, if I get that,
yeah,
head over heels.
I know. And okay, I have to say, I think you are the ideal lover type as well.
What?
Because you're very good at, like, seeing what the other person wants, needs, what they need to hear,
my God.
And adapting to that.
I think the thing is, like, I'm a little bit sensitive, so it's like I have this empathy. I feel like I can pick up on things, but I wouldn't say, like, I would target or actually mold myself. I think maybe I have the ability to work on this skill.
Right. Maybe you could
and go after this.
Exactly.
Yeah, because, like, you have to realize which type is closer maybe to what you could be. But I wouldn't say I'm there. Not at all. Yeah.
That's fair. But you have to decide yourself. Like,
yes.
I'm saying based on what I see, but each person has to decide their own category.
That's amazing. Like, imagine, so what you do is, for practicing and stuff, is like you pick someone and then you actually listen to them and you actually care about them, and then you see, like, what do they lack in their life, and then you go and be that person.
Right.
For them.
And it's not a lie. It's not like you're living a lie. Like, you're actually encouraging them to do better.
And it's usually good qualities that they love too. It's not a bad quality they like. Usually it's that, so it's always good. It's like working on yourself as well.
That's right.
That's good.
And it's more than just saying, so let's say the guy, let's say you like this guy who's into soccer.
Right.
It's more than just saying, oh, let's watch this game together. Like, it's taking the next step, like, why do you like soccer? Yeah, let's go play together. Exactly. How can you get more involved? Yeah, teach me. Exactly. So, like, getting it past the step of just talking about something to actually actions. Yeah. Or, like, for example, if they say, I feel so sad today, like, you're not like, oh, poor baby. Like, you actually try and fix it. So that's the ideal lover. Wow. And it doesn't matter. Again, none of these, other than the siren, really, none of these bring up beauty. So you can be any of them.
That's true. So what's next?
Next. Okay.
Do you think any of the characters... Well, Valmont is the Rake, right?
Rake, for sure.
But none of them were the ideal lover, except for Dunsany, as you said.
Dunsany, there's another category he matches.
Okay.
But, yeah, Siren...
It's not Marquise.
It's not Marquise.
Yeah.
It could be, but no.
No, she's not a siren.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that kind of, like... She's not known for her beauty or anything. It's just her words and her mind that is just so incredible.
The next category is the dandy.
Oh.
The dandy is, they play with masculinity and femininity.
Wow.
So, how interesting.
You know who I'm thinking of? Harry Styles.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah?
Exactly.
He is
so, like, a very, you know, if it's a man, they are very masculine in many ways. You know, it's not like they're hiding from their masculinity.
No.
But they also have these feminine qualities. Like, they are very, not just in clothing, by the way. Like, they're more open to their emotions.
Yes.
They say that they cry sometimes, maybe. Or they say they love something. They don't hide it. So if you're a man and you have these, like, female qualities, suddenly you're so much more attractive than if you're just a hard man. Like, I will never cry. I'm looking at, keep it in. Whereas if you say, like, oh, that really made me feel something, suddenly women feel like they can connect with you.
That's amazing. You know, Elvis was like that too, apparently. For women.
So many of these famous stars are dandies.
Oh.
And for women too, it works so well, I think.
Oh, so masculine. Okay.
So, like, you know, being you as feminine as you can be, you're beautiful, you're kind, you're loving, you want to give. These are all female qualities. Right. But also you have this, like, self-sufficiency. You feel like you don't need a man to do everything for you. Like, for example, there was this woman called Lou Salome. She's like a psychiatrist, psychologist, philosopher, I don't know. Wow. And she was a ultimate dandy who made so many guys fall in love with her, including Nietzsche.
Oh my God.
So like this philosopher who is all about find your purpose in life. Like, I'm not going to look at any girl.
I'm so one-dimensional. I'm going to go after that. Yeah.
Right. And he proposed to her, even though he didn't even want to get married.
And apparently she had this masculine kind of like quality to her.
So like, for example, she would be like, let me walk you home. To a guy, she would say that. Like, let's walk home together. That's such a guy thing to say.
Oh my God.
Or she would like look directly in their eyes. Whereas women usually at that time were timid, like not looking, being more shy. She would look, grab hands, like say, my friend, let's do this thing together. Like all these qualities that are more manly.
Well, do you think that would work in this time? Because already we've kind of like mastered.
That's right.
And there's so many like feminist kind of like ideals and stuff that are like a little bit extreme. So it's made a lot of women be like that.
You're right. I think now most of the population is already in the dandy. Like they have that category of like men are not so hard manly.
Yeah.
Women are not like, oh, okay, I'm going to be in the kitchen. Like they have both.
Yes, that's true. But I think at that time, for example, someone like that would have worked really good. Well. You don't see that kind of woman every day. So.
But even still, I do think it has power. Like, for example, let's say a siren might be like, oh, I can't climb that mountain. My outfit is like, I need to walk in my heels all the time. But then the dandy would be like, you know, let me take off my dress and put on my biking shoes, whatever, and then let's go up the mountain. So like she would be more open to these male activities. Like she wouldn't just say, because I have makeup on, I'm not going to do this and that. I can do both.
I see. And as you say, like self-sufficiency is so important and like being practical. And also like, for example, we have like lots of masculine qualities. Lots of girls in this time have masculine qualities, but still maybe we have that shyness when we're talking to a man, or maybe not even shyness, but it's like, I don't know. It's like maybe we have some social anxiety. Maybe we have something with anyone, right? So still that is not helping us to seduce at all. So a dandy would be someone that is so comfortable with themselves that even though they have the masculine qualities, they would like be so forward and they would look you directly in the eyes. Because like eye contact is a huge thing. So many people, including myself and you, I don't know, we have to work on
difficult.
Yes, very hard. So for a woman at that time, especially to like be this forward and talk like that to a man that is like this famous. I don't know how famous he was at the time, but of course famous enough to just be with this psychologist.
He'd written multiple books.
Yes,
so he was. Exactly. The crazy thing about the dandy is like you're taking what's attractive about the man and what's attractive about the woman and you're using both. So how amazing is that? Like what's normally attractive about a man? It's their kind of power and dominance.
And yes, like single-mindedness.
Single-mindedness, exactly. And like
their vision maybe like like a hunter kind of vision.
So good. You got it exactly right. So then you imagine you are a woman who is beautiful and giving and like kind and, yes. But you also have this like single-mindedness and you also have a vision just like the man, and suddenly they're like, you're so much like me. We can have a vision together and go up. And then the same thing for women, like if a man suddenly becomes more kind and loving and open.
What do you think?
What else does it say? And then another quality I actually do. Like for example, one quality dandies have is don't care what people think of them. I definitely don't have this quality. So dandies, like they don't even bother with what people think. They're so comfortable with themselves. So I don't have that quality, but I do feel like comfortable with talking to men, of course. Like I feel like, hey, look, I'm one of the guys, like let's do things together. I love being part of both worlds. Like one day you want to really be feminine, dress up, and one day you just want to be one of the boys. So I feel like dandy might be one of my qualities.
The thing is, exactly. And the thing about dandies is that they have a really good sense of fashion too.
That's right.
They like, for example, you take like Elvis and Harry Styles and all that, like the big part of them is their fashion sense.
That's right.
I don't know for women.
Yeah, it is mentioned.
Like, what did he say about women? Like, that psychiatrist, was she?
Yeah. She had the very, like, she wore dresses, revealing and all that.
But also...
Yeah, but like bigger coats, let's say.
Okay.
I mean, like she would mix.
Did you make that up?
Here's the thing. When you said that, this image came in my head. I don't know if I just made it up in my head or I saw a picture. Probably I saw a picture.
You were thinking of like a 90s kind of New York girl with a big coat and everything.
Right. You're right. That also looks the same. Well, okay. If there is a picture, I'll put it up.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know exactly how she dressed. Next type, we kind of talked about this a little bit. It's the natural. So the natural type is spontaneous, sincere, and innocent, and is not pretentious. So the natural type is kind of like they have this childlike quality.
Right.
They seem to not be lying. They seem to say what comes in their mind first.
Right.
And they're so wondrous about the world. So they see something like, wow, that's such a beautiful room. Look at this mountain. Like, and that's immediately attractive.
The thing is, like, would that be attractive for men as well? Like, for women would be attracted to this kind of thing as well?
You know why I think yes? Because Keanu Reeves falls into this category. So it's this, like, simplicity. It seems like you understand this man. He likes the simple things in life. He likes his motorcycle. He's so amazed by how the street works. Like he just has this like childlike innocence to him.
And sincerity.
Sincerity, yeah.
Yes, that's true.
And he gets happy with things.
I think honesty and that kind of thing is always refreshing and it's always seductive.
Exactly.
So that's why it works. And also philosophy. So these people have some certain philosophies of life and they always think about that. And they talk about it and share it. So that's something that is also attractive.
Right. Like they have these ideals that they explain. Like this is what the world should be.
Yeah.
And they believe it like really wholeheartedly, like a kid.
I know. For example, like I saw this interview actually of Keanu Reeves. Is that how they pronounce? And he said that they were talking about love and fight and all that. Like, and then he says that, but if you're not a fighter, then how can you be a lover? Something like this. And it was just so great.
It's so cute, yeah.
Yeah, and he just stood up and went just because like he said something so cliche and all that. Like, but it just feels like he has these philosophies and all that, and I love it. Like you could sit down, discuss with this guy everything.
It's so intoxicating.
And that's true.
So another thing,
you think that Dunsany was like that, Chevalier?
For sure, yeah. The natural, and it also says though that they're blissfully uncaring. So for example, they're not bothered by the fact that something is late or like they're not like, oh my god, why is there like this thing missing? They don't care. They're just little kids. They enjoy everything. Right. Another quality they have is they're impulsive. So they're like, oh my god, let's leave right now and go do this thing.
Wow, that's very attractive.
Exactly.
I'm thinking of Jack in Titanic.
Oh,
that he also had some. Do you think he's the natural?
I think there's a few other categories that he matches. Yeah, either ideal, natural.
I think natural goes really well because he had that childlike wonder and that kind of like spontaneous quality to him. He would just say, "Oh, let's go dance or let's do that."
That's right. And he did have beliefs about how the world should be. That's true. Easier. Oh, another thing is like, if you want to be a natural, it's easier for you to be younger. So, like, if you're past 50, don't do the natural one anymore.
Oh, my God. Imagine, like, a 50... But can a 40-year-old do that? I don't think they could pass.
Yeah, they can't.
I think
men can.
20, huh?
For women, yeah, like 20s, 30s even. Like, starting 30s, you should stop being the natural.
Okay.
I think. But guys could do it for longer.
So strict you are, like...
31. Yeah. No. And another thing is you have to exaggerate your weakness. So you have to seem like the little kid.
Oh, I can't reach that.
Yeah,
Can you get this for me?
That's right. But natural is very seductive. So let's remember that one.
I think
be childlike.
Women
wonders.
being naturals is very seductive for men. They like that. It's like it's very weird and creepy too. Like, why would you be attracted to like a woman that is so clueless, like a child?
That's right.
That's like pedophile. Like, why are you like that? But still, like, I think there's something to it. Like the sincerity, the honesty, the spontaneous thing is so different from your boring everyday life. So you want to.
That's right.
Especially if you live, like, for example, if we were in French court, for example, you were a Marquise.
Okay.
And I was a Viscount, for example. Viscountess. And then what I would be attracted to in a man would be someone that is so simple and so sincere and doesn't play these games.
That's right.
That everybody around me plays. So wouldn't you be attracted to a natural too in that social setting? Like everybody's so scheming. Everybody's going after, playing games and, I don't know, just betraying each other. So someone that is like that.
That's right.
Especially they're like a poor person, probably your servant.
Right. And natural is easy to fall for because they seem so simple.
That's
it doesn't seem like there's something hiding behind them.
That's why, like, Rose fell in love with Jack. Usually I feel like the rich would fall in love with this type. And these are usually the poor people too. That's stereotypical.
Okay,
wow.
That's interesting. Now, natural. Yeah, I think there's an interesting thing to think about. So all of these are the seducer types, and you can be multiple, of course, in ways of seducing. So one of them, for example, is being just simple and wondrous and enjoying life. That's a seducer type. Then there's the anti-seducer, who is like these certain qualities that make you not interested.
Please do say them.
I will at the end. So but so you imagine, like, anyone could be the natural, could have some parts of it. As long as you're spontaneous, you're clear, like honest, sincere, and wondrous.
I think when I was a teenager, I was mostly natural. I wasn't as spontaneous, but I was definitely like the wondrous type or like that.
Very interesting. Yeah. Now we've got the coquette.
Coquette. I love Coquette. Like, look at this. It goes very well with that.
Coquette. And coquettes are mostly women as well. So if you're a guy, see if you're into, if you like coquettes. So they seem really like they don't need you. They're sufficient on their own.
Right.
Coquettes seem like they have their life figured out. And if they give you attention, it's because they want to. So coquettes are really hot and cold. One day they will seem like they're so interested. And the next, not even answer text, like walk away and like, or not say hello. Like if you meet them, they might just like not even say hello to you. And you're like, what? We had such a great relationship the previous day.
So I'm kind of thinking of this song called Hot and Cold.
By Katy Perry.
Exactly.
That's right.
You're hot and you're cold. And yes, then you're no.
So I guess there is a coquette guy then.
So that's like your guideline. If you want to be coquette, listen to this song
that song.
And follow that.
Ability to delay satisfaction. So like you don't immediately go out with a person. You make them wait. So I think Marquise was a coquette.
That's true.
She's super self-sufficient.
That's very interesting. Yes, she was.
Send mixed signals.
She was absolutely a coquette. Like a cat.
Exactly.
Coquette reminds me of a cat. They're exactly aloof. They don't care. They could survive on their own even without you. Or they pretend to be so. And yes, you're always the one at their feet. You're always the one fighting for their attention.
That's right. So I wonder if that's their personality or if it's all an act that they're putting on. Like, do they want to be hot and cold, or are they really putting an effort to be cold?
I think it depends. For example, if they're conscious of it or not. But there is a certain toxicity in it. So you got to be a little bit insecure, I think, to be a coquette.
I know.
As well.
That's fair. Yeah.
And at the same time, maybe they lack that kind of empathy. So, for example, this Marquise is basically a narcissist. So everybody says that she's a narcissist. I saw some analogies of her as well, and analysis of her character, and she is absolutely a narcissist. She has no empathy, or a literal, and that maybe like makes up for that.
Exactly.
That's why that happens. Like, she doesn't care about other people. One day she could put an effort to seem interested.
Just because she cares about herself and how they react to her.
Right.
And one day if she doesn't care how they react to her, she just doesn't put any effort.
That's true.
That's such a good point. So coquettes are it comes from insecurity, but it's very attractive still.
Yeah, you could also be like conscious of it and do it. So that, I recommend you doing that instead of like being unaware of it and like just be toxic.
That's right.
So if you're aware, I think that's a really good way of luring people in.
Exactly. Like, don't always be available.
Yeah.
Don't just every time go out. Like, sometimes say, I'm sorry, I can't. And that makes you more in demand.
That's true. Like, exactly. Like a product that is not available all the time. Like, you gotta treasure the moments that you're with me.
Exactly. That's the coquette. And I do think I was the coquette in my first relationship. I really made my ex-boyfriend like suffer.
Really?
One day I'm hot, one day I'm cold. But
I
again,
didn't answer.
I feel like it did, because he still stayed with me for that amount of time. But like it came out of my insecurity. Like one day I wanted, one day I didn't. But he did stay, to his defense.
Yeah, but you were young as well, so I don't know. Yeah. Maybe it's like I'm not trying to like be anything, but maybe it's the immaturity kind of. I guess like this Marquise is also, even though she's old, she's also immature as well. Like she thinks that she can play with people. But then, that's the...
But it's a type of seduction.
That's right, it still works. It's better than repulsion. Anything.
I know. So we have 3 more categories of seduction. These are more general, like you can tell. Yes. So one of them is the charmer. Oh. Now, what does a charmer do? How do you charm someone? You deflect...
Sucking up to them?
Yes, that's right. So you adapt to their moods. If they're happy, you become happy. If they're upset, like you kind of recreate their moods.
Okay.
You deflect attention off of yourself and you put it onto them. So it's very similar to the ideal lover. I guess if you're ideal lover, you charm.
Yes.
And then it says, don't fight or argue or pester them.
Perfect. Yes.
The thing is, though, how can you not argue? Like, how can you be a person and sometimes not disagree with other people? It's very hard.
I think if you master like yourself, you control yourself, and you kind of like get to a point that you're past the ego and all that, you get to a certain love for everyone. And then when you're in that level, you naturally don't argue actually with other people. You're calmer and you're not going to like just find reasons to argue with others. Even if others are angry, you would make them calm with your energy and with the way that you talk.
And then you become a charmer. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Like a person who's charming is not gonna start pestering you about.
And women are charmers too, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
And another thing it says is don't complain. So just don't bring up your problems. Don't like start saying, oh, this sucks and that's.
Oh, that's so unattractive.
Yeah. For sure.
And even though like I do it too all the time, but like it's like we have to be conscious of it and put a stop to this. You know.
I know. And then you become charming. Like you know how people
Prince
say,
Charming.
This guy is charming. This Prince Charming.
Yeah.
Then you could become that as long as you put the focus on the other person. You don't just complain and fight with them.
Yes.
And you adapt to their moods.
But the problem is like sometimes some people, like it depends on people, I think. For example, your target could be someone that has everybody agreeing with them, bowing to them, always like just praising them. Then that person wouldn't be attracted to a charmer.
That's right. Exactly. So you should know who you are.
Exactly. I think, that's true. You have to see, like, adapt to that person. So maybe for that person, arguing would be actually or bantering would be kind of seductive.
Yeah, maybe they're looking for a coquette who's hot and cold.
Yeah.
It's possible. So you gotta understand the other person. It keeps coming back to that. Like in each category, you got to put the focus on the other person.
It doesn't matter if you just, mold this persona and then think that, okay, I'm just the charmer and I'm just that. Everybody's going to be attracted to me. Like, no, you got to, like, adapt. And even on a major, mass scale, for example, there are so many audience and you want to seduce them. You have to, like, pick certain qualities that they're looking for or these certain things that they want. And then be that symbol. Be that for them. Be their belief, basically.
It's amazing. And now it really leads into the next one. Okay. The next category is being charismatic. Ooh, so of course charismatic people are so seductive. Yeah. How can you be, and you know what the description is? Charismatic people are like gods, saints, stars.
Oh my god, prophets.
Exactly.
Oh wow, that's right.
So that's really the ultimate. Like being able to be charismatic can get you anywhere, not just with a person you find romantically and attractive, but any category of life you could succeed.
That's right. You could be charismatic to a major audience, like to everyone, and like presidents and people like that. I think he uses as an example are charismatic. Exactly. Yes.
So how do you be charismatic?
How?
One thing is you have to be really confident. Wow. You have to believe in your mission.
A mission. You have to have a belief is something an ideal that you believe in.
Okay. There has to be something that you are fighting for. And you have to believe it. Then you have to be intense. So life is not just, let's shake hands, say hello, and move on. For charismatic people, every interaction is important.
They want to influence people, probably.
So they're so intense. Like if I'm talking to you right now, I start to shake you. I'm like, listen to me. Like this is the conversation that matters. That's the charismatic
I have this belief. Yes, the plot pals is all about the stories. It's all about movies and
analysis
books and literature.
And about the meaning of life.
And what is more important in life than literature and movies and
storytelling?
Yes,
exactly.
That's so aggressive now. Convert to the plot pals.
Exactly. Join us on this journey where we master the art of seduction in this episode. But that would be the charismatic type.
Right. Let's start a cult now.
Exactly. Yeah, a cult was mentioned. Charismatic people can start a cult.
Wow.
So you have to use, vision. Your vision, you have to just tell people about it and bring them to your side. And you have to have self-belief, as we mentioned. Confidence.
Charisma has a certain religious aspect to it. So it's like, you believe in one thing, just like you believe in God, for example, and then you try to like convert other people to that belief, or like try to influence people based on that. Even other people don't matter. The thing is that you believe in something so intensely, even though it's not physical yet, even though it's not here yet. You have that like ability to believe in that. Like belief is the most important part of charisma.
Yes, and it's so attractive. People are always looking for something to follow.
That's right.
So you can be that. It's very amazing. And radiate intensity, we said that. So just be a very intense person, believe something, push for making that thing happen, and also believe yourself.
That's right.
That's all you need to be charismatic.
Wow.
So let's keep that in mind. And the last quality, before we get to the anti-charismatic people, is the star quality. So stars come from the movies, and they have this kind of face and way of talking that makes you want to know them more, makes you want to get close to them. So how do you then radiate star quality if you're not a star? Based on Robert Greene, this is what you do. You tune your face like an instrument. So that's step one. What? So, like on a daily basis, if I'm like just eating or like watching a movie or something, suddenly I become conscious and I see my face is like just random.
Know. Maybe like a wrinkle or something on my face, like looking so serious.
Or just frowning or like just sitting with a frown. So that's not what you should do. As a star, you should pretend that your face is your instrument.
Wow, your
always do something with it. Smile. Yeah, exactly. Like just look effortless. So that's really important. Like if you look at someone and they look cool, you're gonna want to talk to them.
That's the thing. Like it feels like the stars are kind of like so conscious of themselves at all times. So they kind of can see their body, their face at every position from everywhere. So for example, they're talking and then they know how to move their muscles of their face in a way that makes you like feel good or like makes you feel like, yes, I'm interested in you.
That's
and what you say. Which is like, for example, imagine there are so many sincere people, but that actually care about other people and what they have to say, but they can't control their body language and their face and all that, and it's so hard. The other person thinks, oh my god, this person
they have a resting bitch face. What is up with them?
And it happened to me so much. Like, for example, so many of my friends said that before I got to know you and before I was your friend, when I first saw you, I was like, no.
You're hard to approach. Just
you're
because
so
of your
proud.
face.
Yeah. And then after they get to know me and they're like, oh, you're totally not what I imagined. Girl, what were you thinking? Like, what?
Exactly.
And that's a problem. That's not even a good thing. Like,
if you can manage to show how you want to be perceived.
Right, and there are so many people that are like so actually bitchy, and they come across as so genuine, like the mean girls kind of.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the star also should apply to everyone. You should pretend that you are a star all the time.
That's true. And to think that it came from movies, so it's like 100 years ago from that.
Exactly.
That's a century-old seducer.
And then the rest of them are not as clear. Like, for example, it says, be more vague, be dreamlike. So, like, this is kind of goes against the other ones.
So, for example, being an influencer, right?
Right.
Right now. Being a little bit, like, distant, kind of having that kind of hazy dream, ideal thing. Again, I think a star is kind of similar to an ideal lover. So having that ideal for people
Right. And it's so different than the charismatic, if you think about it, because it says be more ambiguous. Like, don't say this is my goal. Hide your goals. Hide your personality.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Instead, just like put on this pretense of, I am a god. I'm an angel. Look at me. Like, you can never reach it.
Wow. You know, I think the healthiest, there are like different types of seduction, but I think the healthiest ones are the charismatic, the ideal lover, probably. And natural. Dandy. I think these are, dandy. These are, I think, the healthiest ones. But the star and all that, it's like, you thinking of yourself always as the god or like Coquette, you have this like image of yourself, you're definitely going to be destroyed by that. Your ego, if your ego gets big, anything that gets your ego big is definitely the fall of you. Just as we saw in the movie too, like
that's right, exactly.
Being a Coquette and a Rake and a star and all that is going to ruin you. But being charismatic, like charismatic people never go wrong.
Yeah.
It can't really, like you're gonna live on for centuries even.
That's right. So really, like with the star and the Coquette and the Rake, proceed with caution. Yeah. Don't have that be your only quality. Like your only quality is that you know how to smile.
That's right.
That's not enough. You gotta know how to put the attention on the others.
That's right. That's right.
But again, so like Robert Greene did an amazing job with this list. It's very comprehensive.
Oh yes, it's the ultimate one. A Bible of seduction.
Now, how do you be an anti-seducer?
Oh God, I think we already are that. Like, I know. Lots of people have these qualities.
I think most people.
Yes.
Because you imagine like how many people are in relationships that are like perfect, and then how many people are single and sad. So there's lots of anti-seducers, but that's okay as long as you realize it and fix it.
Exactly.
So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 qualities that make you an anti-seducer. One, and I've met so many anti-seducers. I have so many of these qualities, but I've also, most people I talk to are anti-seducers.
I know, so most people are, because how often do you get seduced in life? Like, there are not so many charismatic people. That's why you get attracted to them, because there are not so many of them.
You're so right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's such a good point. Okay, so the first one is the suffocator. This person falls in love with you immediately, starts messaging you, saying, like, lets you know that they like you. So they're like, man, I really enjoyed, so let's go out again. And I think I like you. You're so interesting. Like, if they're texting these immediately, they're the suffocator. That's not attractive.
You know, when I was young and immature, I thought that's really good. Like, people should be like that. That's straightforward and say that all the time. That's healthy. But no, that's horrible. Like, why would you just love bomb me like that?
Right.
That shows that you don't even care. Like, it's like you have this ideal things in your mind going on, and you kind of just try to throw them on me like that.
Exactly. It's more about them instead of the person they're seducing.
That's right.
It's like, I like you. I want you to know this, that I like you. I want you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were seductive, like one of these other categories, or you would like show it with a look, show it with a thing that you do for them,
right?
With a way you say goodbye. You would let them come to you.
And you would make my life a little interesting instead of just being so straightforward like that. So blunt.
Exactly. Like when you say I like you, you're putting pressure on the other person to now either say yes or no.
That's why I thought the Valmont was an anti-seducer. Like immediately he goes and says, I love you, and he goes at her feet. Like, what were they trying to do at that point? He's known and he has a reputation as a rake. And now you're showing me him going on his knees and love bombing this woman like that?
Exactly.
An anti-seducer, number 1.
Yeah. Valmont fails. Like, he did too much too early. You're right.
Yes.
He immediately is like, I love you.
And runs after her.
Yes.
And begs.
Yeah, especially in the movie. So that's not seductive.
No.
None of the categories we talked about say you should immediately go and say, I love you. It's more about showing it in different ways and letting the other person come. So that's bad. There's the moralizer. They want to fix you and tell you what's right and wrong. So unattractive. So if you're like, actually, this is what that person did, and let me explain to you something, and that's unattractive. A person even who knows these things, they would hide it.
Yes. I think I have this kind of thing. Definitely, like, I try to talk. I don't try to say, like, to a specific person what is wrong, you shouldn't do that, and what is right. But I have these like ideas and these things, and I talk about them all the time. I think maybe that's a little bit.
Maybe you take it too far with your explanation. I don't know. I haven't seen you talk to a guy. Like when I was
in general, was I like when I'm talking, I feel like sometimes I philosophize some things or just talk about them to a point that is like. So
well, you're right. You definitely do talk about it. Like, for example, you say, this is what I think life is about. But it kind of falls under the charismatic category as well, because you have a belief. So you're telling me about your belief.
That's the thing about charisma. Like, it's also about religious. So it's like a thin line between this anti-seductive kind of, what is it called? So, for example, imagine a prophet coming and he's charismatic. But at the same time, he's not going to say, you're wrong for doing that. Like, don't do this. That is sin. That is like mostly the job of the clergy and the people that after the prophet took over. So it's like those people just said what they believed in and they didn't care. Like, they didn't judge people. That's the thing.
They didn't
we
judge.
shouldn't judge people.
Exactly. And I think this moralizer also means, like, let's say I come to you with a problem, like, oh, I'm really struggling to write today. If you were a moralizer, you'd be like, well, why don't you just put aside an hour and sit down and write? Whereas, like, if you were more understanding, we'd be like, why are you struggling? Make it about me, like, ask questions.
That's right, yeah.
So moralizer is like trying to fix. That's bad. Then there's the brute.
You know who I'm thinking of for moralizer? It's a little bit fun. There Will Be Blood. That guy, what was his name?
Eli,
yes.
Oh, for sure. Such an anti-seducer.
That's right.
He's like, you abandoned your boy. Say it out loud.
That's right, yeah. Immediately you realize that's an anti-seductor.
That's very true.
Skill.
Okay, now we got the brute. So the brute is...
Oh! Napoleon?
Yeah. Oh, yes!
Everybody called him that.
Poor guy.
Now describe what is a brute.
Brute is somebody who's very impatient. So they want what they want when they want it. And impatience is the ultimate, like, no when it comes to seduction. Because it's all about time and patience and building up.
That's right. You know, the thing is, seduction is a game. We have to realize that. Like, it takes some time. You can't just like someone and then immediately want to have them.
Yes. It takes a game. You have to win it.
Right. And you have to see each other. Like, you have to, I don't know, sometimes be hot, sometimes be cold, sometimes a little aloof. I don't know, care about them. But then immediately saying and being impatient and trying to, like, put a stress on them to be in a relationship with you, that's really bad. Yeah.
Like, you always have to make the other person say it, that I want to be in a relationship with you. So you've got to, like, play these mind games.
Well, what if there are two seducers? Just like this movie that we saw, like, two seducers also can't go with each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, imagine both of them are trying to play this game by considering the other person. And it's like so hard. It doesn't work.
One of them has to be a better seducer.
That's right. One of them has to be the victim. One of them has to be like the target, and the other has to be a little bit more dominant, maybe. Yeah. Because like
it's hard. Like if two people read the Art of Seduction, it'll be hard for them to get together. Maybe.
That's right.
I don't know. But I mean, it's good to know in life. Like, don't be impatient in general.
Exactly.
It's just an anti-seduction quality to have. Like, if somebody's like, I want my ice cream now, that's not seductive.
That's right.
Good to know. The bumbler is self-conscious, and they're always thinking about themselves and how awkward they are. So this person is actually, you think they care about how you view them. You're like, they're like, oh, I'm such a bad dancer. Like, you're a better dancer than me. I always do that. But it's not just because, like, I'm complimenting you. It's more because I want you to say, no, you're not a bad dancer, you know? So that's, like, a bad quality to have.
I think I have that, too. Oh
like, being so self-conscious that you always want approval from others and are constantly, like, talking, like, maybe self-deprecating yourself. And you're thinking, oh, this is so attractive. I'm bringing myself down to bring them up. But really, like, you want their affection.
You know, at a time, for example, I thought that this quality is, like, associated with being humble. So if you say, like, I'm not good at that at all, like, I'm really weak at this, I can't do it, but you're really great, I thought that would be, like, you would think of me as a humble person.
Exactly, that's what I thought too.
But it's not at all what it is. It's so bad. Like, it's not gonna, it's gonna make the other person feel awkward.
Yeah.
They don't know what to say.
I know.
And then you also gonna get hurt because no matter what they say, you're not gonna be satisfied with the answer.
That's right.
So it's really such a bad quality.
It's such a bad quality to be like in your own head. It's not about you. When you're seducing, it's never about you. It's about the other person.
I think in life in general, we should always keep that in mind, that we have to be outward. Just as Robert Greene says, like, just be about the other person at all times. Yeah.
It's hard.
Not don't be in your head. Be out there.
There's so many bad qualities that we have, but it's okay. We're learning.
At least, learn it.
Then there is the windbag. It's very similar to that one. So they talk a lot, and they talk about themselves.
Oh Lord.
Have you met these people?
Yes.
Oh, it's tough.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's like, okay, let me tell you what I'm doing this weekend. Let me tell you about my plans. This is what they said to me, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as you try to get an award, they lose interest. And they go back to themselves.
Oh my God.
This is the worst type of person to talk to.
I've had, maybe at times I'm like this too, but I've had like friends that were like that. And to the extreme, like, not even something like that is their quality. They would be interested in you as long as you're talking about them.
I know.
As long as you're talking about their week, as long as you're reacting to that. But the moment you try to talk about yourself or your life or what happened just this week, they go on their phone. They don't care at all.
I know.
And you want to like smash your head into the table just then. And
how could they live with themselves? It's the worst.
I know, yes, and it's like they're so self-absorbed that they can't like see it. Like so many people have that, including myself.
Yeah,
but if it's like this extreme, oh my God, it's suffocating.
I know. And everyone has that quality. Like I have it, you have it. Everyone wants to talk about themselves.
Right.
So like you have to be aware and try to start being interested in others.
If you like deliberately don't care when they're talking about themselves, like not even show interest, go on your phone, that's plain rude.
Yeah.
Like no explanation for that.
Insane.
I know.
But we'll learn and do better. Then there's the reactor. Oh God, I am this one.
I know.
So the reactor whines and complains a lot and is very sensitive. And so anything that you say to them, they feel it, they remember it, and they internalize it. And it says they show resentment in the eyes. I have this so much. Like if somebody hurts me, just like my eyes start to blood up, and I'm like, oh, I will get you one day. And apparently this is the ultimate bad thing you can do.
Oh Lord. Why did you have to do
you should just not have any feelings, I guess. Like how can you not get offended?
Not feelings, but like one thing that Robert Greene said is that your ego is, if you're an anti-seducer, your ego is so fragile that you would get insulted by the smallest things that anyone says. You would get offended. That's really bad because like being a reactor is always horrible, like something that we have to work on. It's not even about feelings. Feelings are all fine. You can show them as long as you're aware of them. But reacting is horrible. As we talked about it before, about like this stimuli and then mind and then what is it called? The reaction. So it's like something comes to you, for example, an angry person yells at you, and then you have the opportunity to react by default as angry or cry or do something, right? But then you can choose your reaction. So imagine someone's angry, then you process it and you decide that your reaction is going to be a little bit calmer. You're going to calm the person down, or you're going to understand them, or you're going to laugh. Anything that is not the default version. So being a reactor is really bad, and something that I have to, I think, work on that.
Such a good plan. So in the middle, like instead of just reacting immediately, you take a moment to process your emotions
and respond.
Respond better.
Respond instead of react. That's what they say. Respond instead of react. That's very important.
Let's keep that in mind. And also, let's complain less. I always complain.
I know.
Just keep it to yourself. Like sometimes I think it's funny to complain. You're like, oh, this happened, and then oh, my water didn't work. But
definitely, it's sort of like a comedy kind of thing. But if your intention is to be that, I think usually at the end of the day, it's a little bit you try to get attention.
Exactly.
Well, comedians want to get attention.
That's true.
They're also like,
I guess like be more mindful of it. Only say it if you're trying to make the other person laugh, not to get any empathy. The last one is being tasteless, saying anything. So if you're Bulgarian, you'll just like talk about what you ate for breakfast and how your poop was later.
Oh my God.
That's really vulgar. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do this thing. So it's not charismatic at all. Clearly, I think you could tell.
Right.
But you should know. Just like, even though some of the other categories say like be honest, be open and stuff, not everything needs to be said.
Exactly. You gotta have those mysteries and all that at the same time. And being vulgar is really bad. And it's not even about another person seducing another person. Maybe that's not your goal even for this year. But what's important is seduction is a lifestyle. It's a skill. You can seduce anything. You have to seduce success. You have to seduce money. You have to seduce people and influence and all that into your life. So that's the way to go, unfortunately.
So let's learn the ways of interacting with others and master this art, because it is an art. That's right. The art of seduction.
Exactly.
Let us know what you think about Dangerous Liaisons, the book, the film, the casting. Do you agree with John Malkovich as the ultimate rake? Because I don't. But let us know what you think.
Exactly.
If you subscribe
to our channel,
you could check out more videos every week of films and books, literature.
About your favorite books. We're going to talk about your favorite books, your favorite movies, and we could discuss it and share our opinion. Maybe you don't disagree with our opinion. Maybe you want to aggressively comment down below, or maybe you like it and you enjoy it, and then you subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. See you on the next one.
Bye.